All right, everybody. Good late morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Today's going to be a pretty big day for the Seahawks. They are opening up padded practice, first padded practice of the training camp. So hopefully we get some good information later. Hopefully some interesting stuff happens. I know that they are suiting up and taking the field as I speak. So in the next couple of hours, we should know more. But for now, this is what we've got. We've got a little bit of roster news, so I'm going to go ahead and go over it real quick. Shouldn't take too long. Nothing particularly massive or anything like that. But while we're here, may as well cover what there is to cover. So the Seahawks had an open roster spot when they waived Kenny McIntosh a couple days ago. Yesterday afternoon, they filled that open roster spot, and we've also got a positive injury update here. All right, this video is sponsored by Prize Picks. But Kyre Duplessis, I believe is how you pronounce it. I know it's French, but I believe it's Kyre Duplessis. Undrafted rookie wide receiver has been signed by the Seahawks. Now, I can't tell you that much about him. He's a relatively unknown player, as you would expect for an undrafted rookie that isn't on a team in late July. But this is filling the roster spot that opened up when Kenny McIntosh was waived, obviously. So basically, the team took Kenny McIntosh, let him go, moved Velez Jones back to running back from wide receiver, and then signed a wide receiver. Now, Duplessis, does he have any chance of making this team? No, not really. Does he have any chance of making the practice squad? Seems pretty unlikely. Right now, however, we need the extra body because, as Brady Henderson points out here, Jake Bobo and Irv Charles are both injured right now. It doesn't seem like it's anything big with Bobo, but Charles, you just can never be sure because he's had injury problems in recent history. So definitely have to keep that in mind here. Sometimes you just need a camp body. Sometimes you just need a guy to hang around. And Duplessis can presumably, at the very least, do that. So that is the new Seattle Seahawk. We're back up to 90 players. Duplessis played for Coastal Carolina and then Delaware in his breakout season last year. Had over 800 yards, 60 catches for them. But obviously nothing to get overly excited about here. Kind of a smaller player and just not really much to say here. He's a camp body, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But certainly not expecting him to be anything other than a guy who hangs around until a couple of injury situations clear up. And that's, some players, that's all they can do. Nothing wrong with that. Now, one thing that was kind of interesting is that Kenny McIntosh passed his physical after we released him. So nobody picked him up, nobody claimed him, but he passed his physical, which means he can't revert to our injured list. It also means we didn't necessarily waive him because he was injured. Now, it looks like the team is not interested in bringing him back. I would assume that maybe they would do something like that because it would save a little bit of money because he was still on his rookie deal if they were going to do that. Doesn't seem like they're doing that, though. So at this point, my best guess is he realized, and the team realized, he had no future here. There was no real chance of him making the team even healthy. So they decided to just go ahead and give him an early waiver and allow him to try to catch on with another team, which, I mean, it's doing right by him, right? If you don't have utility for him, may as well let him try to find a team that does. So McIntosh, looking for a new squad. All right, guys, let's take a quick break here to talk a little bit about Prize Picks, currently the #1 sports pick app in America. The app is very easy to use. Check it out to my left here. You can do player picks, where you just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Or you can pick teams, where you pick winners, spread, or total on any game or fight. The app is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Right now, they have a great offer. You can play your first $5 lineup and get $150 in lineups if you win. All you have to do is use code HMA when you sign up. It's a brand new offer, best time possible to get on the app. So get on over there and get to winning that first lineup. So remember, Prize Picks, code HMA. Download the app today, and remember to always gamble responsibly. All right, so that's the end of that little saga, but we did get one other piece of news this morning before they took the field for the practice. Deven Eastern passed his physical and is now off the PUP. So great news here. Deven Eastern, rookie, 7th-round pick. Obviously, this is another guy who you look at and you go, probably not going to make the team. Long odds on actually beating out Mike Morris or Brandon Peely in my mind. And you're not going to beat out Riley Mills or Jaron Reed, obviously. But nevertheless, I do see a practice squad spot in his future if he can earn it. There is an opportunity there, especially if Peely makes the team, because then a guy like Eastern would probably be your best option of the guys that don't make the team. So this is great news. He presumably is going to be able to, at the very least, show what he can do and try to leave a good first impression. And for a guy like him, that's really all you can ask for. So with this, it means that the Seahawks are, with the exception of some dangling plot threads that we don't know about quite yet, they are basically cleared up injury-wise. We've got Zach Charbonnet, who we knew back in February was going to, or actually back in January, excuse me, was going to be missing the start of the season. And by the way, there are some reports now that indicate he might actually make it back for week 1. Like Albert Breer seems to think it's on the table. But Charbonnet, Nicky Manwari, and then you've just got a couple of little things going on in camp that we don't really have full information on. But Steam Minor, as of right now, like Julian Neal is dinged up right now. Jake Bobo or Charles, might be one or two more. But for the most part, what we see is what we get. And you look at some of these other teams out there, like the Panthers, like the Lions, like the Niners with their substation situation. That is a luxury. That is something that not every team enjoys. In fact, right now, I would say most teams don't enjoy it. So the fact that we are so clean with our injury situation as we start training camp and as we start heading towards August, it's a great thing, man. It's a great thing, and hopefully it holds. Hopefully it holds up. But Deven Eastern, ready to practice now. We've got very little injury stuff to concern ourselves with at this point in time, and be thankful for that, because that is something that as you can see with some of these other NFL teams, it can just derail your hopes before the season even starts. And nothing's worse than that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Short video, I know, but I just wanted to cover a couple of roster notes. And I will be seeing you guys later. We'll talk about whatever happens at the VMAC today. Maybe something else happens. Maybe I see something else worth talking about. Until then, though, go Hawks. See you guys soon.